What's going on, Team MG? Back by popular demand, we have a video that's been asked for. What do I do when my horse is crossfiring? For those of you who don't know what crossfiring is, that is whenever you're cantering and the horse has a different lead in the front than in the back. What that means is a lead just simply means the foot that's leading. So if everything's correct, the front right foot and the back right foot are both leading, and they're hitting at the close to the same time, but they're hitting before the foot beside them. Whenever they're crossfiring, say the front right will be landing first, but the back left will be landing first too. And that's crossfiring. Super uncomfortable to ride, and the vast majority, I mean the 99 percentile of the majority, it comes from a lack of ease and a lack of body control. So before we do that, make sure you've gone through the Respect series. Make sure you've gone through taking off the e-brake and getting that horse where he's willing to move his body wherever we want. He's soft and easy. We can leg yield him. We can move him around. Basically, we've disconnected his head from his body. That's really going to set you up for success. More times than not, it's going to fix it before you ever really get to the place where you're trying to fix it. What happens so many times when a horse is a young colt like this is on catching the wrong lead or he's crossfiring, it's just because he's not set up for success. His hip's not to the inside. Whenever he's cantering, he's not picking up his inside shoulder. Just too rigid and stiff through the body, and that's causing for him to be unnatural, because out in the field, he's going to pick up the right lead. If he goes left, he's going to pick up the left lead. If he goes right, he's going to pick up the right lead. So it's human beings that mess that up. So really, it's trying to set him up for success and getting him easy. So before I do any of that, I'm just going to ask him to trot off. If I can't get him to trot off and keep his head where I want, so I would like to see him put his head down. There we go. Whenever he pulls on my reins, I squeeze my legs and ask him to come off my rein by grabbing left, right in my fingertips and releasing him. And I'm going to bring him off the rail to see if I can shoulder him over to the rail. And I'm going to do that a few times until my bridle to do that. Take my rein off, left leg off, push him to the rail. The reason that this is so important for crossfiring horses is because you're setting them up for success. It might not fix it just right off the bat, but I'm telling you, you're gonna have that horse geared so much better to pick up the lead. Notice how make a smaller circle just so I can push him up here. And when I ask for the canter, I'm gonna ask it in this bend right here. If he has this bend with his nose to the inside and his butt to the inside, it's going to be a lot harder. Harder for him, now I'm going to switch to the other side, for him to get the wrong lead. But if he's having a hard time at this trot, moving off my leg, coming off the rein, if I touch him with the leg, if I touch him with the spur, he's having an issue. So right there, he's getting a little stuck. When I say stuck, I mean he's pushing forward into my snaffle. So I'm just going to squeeze him forward with my legs and touch left and right until he softens, and then I'm going to release him. I'm going to pick him up again. Whenever I'm picking up the shoulder, I'm never crossing over the neck. I want that rein to feel like a solid barrier. If I come over the neck, then it doesn't feel solid to him anymore. So I pick up, put my leg, and release. Off of the rail, pick up, put my leg, left rein on, right leg, right rein off. Let him come off the rail again. Left leg, left rein on, right leg, right rein off. And I'm just going to do this until it becomes soft and easy. So I notice that he's a lot stiffer on this left side than on the right side. That could be the reason that he has been crossfiring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this exercise going until he softens up and he just melts right there. He's grabbing a hold of my left rein, and you guys might not even see it, but I can feel the difference. If there was the slightest little hitch in your steering wheel, there we go, that was better. So I grabbed him a little firmer that time, and then the next time that I asked, as soft as I could, he gave as soft as I could. Nice. Come off of the rail, shift to my right stirrup, put my left leg, left rein on, ask with a little encouragement off my leg. There we go. All right, guys, now we're gonna ask for that canter. Look where his head's at. I would love for it to stay there in the canter. The odds of that happening might not be very good, but the end goal. If he can walk here and here, then he can canter here. he's off the rail. It's very important because if he's off the rail, I can leg yield him over, pick the inside hand up. I want to canter him around. Whether he gets it right, he gets it wrong, doesn't matter. Same exercise. So right here where he wants to lay in, right leg, right rein, come off the rail. Right rein, right leg, come on the rail. Let him float in there. Put him over here. And back to that trot. So a lot of that, he's just getting stiff when I ask for the canter, so you see him slipping in here. A lot of that is just, he's not slipping in the trot, he's slipping in the canter, because in the he's leaning in and stiffening up. Just stay straight and square, then he won't have that issue. But to get the answer that we want, we have to get him moving under himself. And he can't be under himself while he's pulling on us. So that's this, the bridle until he bridle. As long as he, when you're pulling on something, if you're playing tug of war, you're leaning against it. We don't want him leaning against it. We want him carrying himself. Leg yield him over. See how rigid he is in that corner? There we go. So right there, even when he's not. And notice how I pick my right hand up every time he tries to lean in. Look at how I'm picking his head up, picking his head up, picking his head up. And nice, buddy, nice. Those transitions up and down are really gonna soften him up. Notice how I pick that inside rein up a little bit. That keeps him from leaning in. Get that canter again, left leg back. Good boy. So just like that, you'll start seeing where the holes are, and you'll start seeing the reason that your horse is crossfiring. If your horse is picking up the wrong lead, or if your horse is crossfiring, there is something wrong. Fundamental hole that you're missing. He's not giving you control of his shoulders, he's not giving you control of his hips, he's too stiff and rigid, he's leaning to the inside, he's kicking his hip to the outside. You want a horse, if you're going on the left lead, his hip and his nose should be pointing to the left. If he's on the right lead, his hip and his nose should be pointing to the right. So in that exercise right there, we weren't necessarily trying to fix the crossfire, we were trying to fix his overall guiding and body control, letting the crossfire fix itself. And that's so much the case when we're fixing leads, fixing crossfire. They're picking up the wrong leads, they only stay on one lead. We're missing a fundamental hole and we're not able to control their head or their body. Because of that, the byproduct, the horse is picking up the wrong lead, the horse is slipping in the canter, the horse is crossfiring. If instead of focusing on those things, you just focus on the overall brokenness of the horse and getting him where he'll really give up his face. When you ask him to move off, he's trying to come off of that bridle. When you have him in a trot or a walk, you're able to push his shoulders around, push his butt around, and he's able to accept it without getting fussy in the bridle. Everything else is gonna melt away on its own. Incorrect leads, they're gonna melt away on their own. Crossfiring is gonna melt away on its own, and you're really gonna have, whenever you get done with all this, a really seasoned, well-broke horse. So if you try that, let me know how it goes, and I'll see you guys in the next video.